Hey guys, this is God of Politics. Welcome to a brand new video, but before we get started with this video, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Also join the Discord that is linked down in the description and check out the website, which is also linked down in the description. But in today's video, I will be doing my updated House map for the House of Representatives elections that are coming out this year. This is the first map that I am doing since the new fundraising numbers have come out, and fundraising is a very important and key part of these races and how they will go. If you look at the rate of candidates with more fundraising and how often they win, the rate is, around 96-97% in some cases. So I'm just going to go through each of these states, seeing the competitive races, how I think they're going to go. Now, the general consensus already has Democrats at 230 seats. They have the Republicans at 183 with 22 toss-ups. I may not necessarily agree with all of these, and that's why I will be changing them as I go down the list here. So Alabama, to start with, nothing competitive there. Alaska, you've got Don Young's seat. I think Don Young's seat is probably more likely. He does well with the Alaska Natives, which, he's a Republican doing well with non-white voters, which is, probably the only example of that in the country. But I do expect him to be able to win. We had a recent poll from the New York Times. He was up by around 6 percentage points, I believe. So I do expect him to be able to win by a likely margin. Arizona, not too much competitive. I think the 2nd district is probably likely rather than safe. I think the 6th district is probably lean. You've got David Schweikart here, who's a pretty no-name senator. He also had some ethics violations, something like that. But he is in a district Trump won by 10%, but, it's trending to the Democrats, so I think he can win by around a lean margin. Arkansas, nothing really competitive. I think the 2nd district is probably likely Republican, not lean, but it is closer than what it would have been in the past. Now, California, we have a number of important seats. Now, first, for the 21st Congressional District, I do think this seat is tilted Democrat. You've got TJ Cox here, who got a very surprising victory in the 2018 race, and now he's looking like he's in a very close race. He's equal in fundraising with his opponent. He's been down in a couple of the polls, but I do think he will be able to narrowly pull it off because Clinton did win the district by 16 percentage points. California's 25th Congressional District, I also do think is, I actually think this district is tilted Democrat. If you look at the early voting numbers, the real official early voting numbers, Democrats are doing very well in this county. If you also got high turnout, or not county, but the district, and the district is trending towards the Democrats, and sure, Christy Smith isn't the greatest candidate, but it's a very blue district, and I don't think Mike Garcia will be able to win. I think he will narrowly lose. Some of these Orange County seats, I pretty much agree with most of these Orange County seats in terms of how they are going to go. So that is it for California. Colorado, not much competitive. I think the 3rd district is probably likely. I don't think Lauren Boebert is going to have too much of, trouble being able to win. I also think that the 6th district is probably likely rather than safe. I don't think Jason Crow is going to have too much trouble winning. Connecticut, all the districts are safe. Delaware, you've got the 1 at-large district, which is also safe. Florida, not too many interesting elections. You've got the 26th district, which I think is lean Democrat. They've got some weird ratings here. Some of them are lean Democrat when they should be toss-up. Some of them are toss-up when they should be lean Democrat, etc. The 18th, I think, is also safe. I also think the 16th is safe. The 15th, I think, is likely. The incumbent lost, but the person who beat the incumbent is doing well in fundraising, and it's quite a red district, so I do expect him to be able to win quite easily. Georgia, you've got the 2 competitive districts. I'd probably agree with both of these. I think the 7th district is probably tilt rather than lean. This is Rob Woodall's district. You've got Carolyn Bordeaux running against Rich McCormick. Democrats have a good candidate. Same candidate as 2018. She's doing well in fundraising. She's doing well in the polls. She has the trends on her side, and I do think she is going to narrowly win. Hawaii, you've got the 2 districts with your both safe. Idaho, same thing. 2 districts with your both safe. Illinois, you've got a couple of districts here. First, I think the 17th district is safe. You saw the Republican internal, which had the Republican down like 6 percentage points. The 13th district, I think, is likely. The 14th district, I also think, is likely, and if we go here, I believe this is the 6th. Actually, that's the 8th. I think the 8th is probably likely too. It's likely to safe because the Chicago suburbs are trending very heavily towards the Democrats. Indiana, you've got the 5th district, which I think is lean Democrat. You've got Susan Brooks, who is retiring this year, so you've got an open seat. The Indianapolis suburbs here are trending towards the Democrats, which is what is going to make it closer, but I don't think the Democrats are going to be able to win it, and I think it will be lean Republican. Now, Iowa, we've got 4 seats. 3 of them are competitive. I've now moved the 1st district to tilt because the Republican candidate actually did quite well in the fundraising, and this is the area of Iowa that is trending towards the Republicans. So I do think that Abby Finkenauer will win, but I just think that it'll be just a little bit closer than what I had it at before. Kansas, not really much competitive here. Probably agree with these assumptions. Kentucky, same thing, although I'd probably put the 6th district actually at safe now. I've just moved it to safe. I think, Andy Barr's not going to have much trouble winning. Louisiana, nothing competitive there. Maine, I think the 2nd district is likely now. We've seen consistently in polls that Jared Golden's been up to, by around 20 points in some polls. He's a very good candidate for this district. Maine seems to like more moderate independent senators or congressmen, governors, whatever you want to call, whatever office it is. But Jared Golden is doing very well, and I do think he will win by a safe margin. Maryland, nothing competitive due to the gerrymander that there is. Same thing in Massachusetts. It's just naturally going to be all safe districts. Michigan, not much competitive. You've got the 8th and 11th district. I think the 8th district is probably lean. I think the 3rd district is likely. I think the 6th district is safe. I also think the 7th district is safe, and I think the 2nd district is safe. These are the rural areas that are trending towards the Republicans. The Republican candidates are not going to have much trouble winning. In Minnesota, however, we do have 2 quite interesting seats. I don't know why people say the 1st is going to be competitive. I've had it as likely are for a while. I think the Republicans, Jim Hagedorn, will be able to win it quite easily. And Minnesota's 7th district, I do believe Colin Peterson will also be able to win quite easily. I think he's going to lose quite easily to his opponent, Michelle Fischbach. He's in a plus 30 Trump district. Sure, he voted against impeachment and stuff like that, but he's still a Democrat. We are in very polarizing times. Mississippi, nothing competitive. Missouri, nothing really competitive. I'd put the 2nd district at lean at Democrats. Sure, it's the St. Louis suburbs, which are trending Republican, but, it's still quite a strong Trump district. Montana, I'd probably leave this at lean. A number of polls recently have had, the race close, but I do think that the Republican is still going to be able to win quite easily. Nebraska's 2nd. I wouldn't put this at tilt or toss-up. I put this at lean Republican. Don Bacon's seat. Democrats ran the same candidate as 2018, Kari Eastman. She is a progressive, and traditionally they don't do very well in swing districts, so I do think this seat is going to stay with the Republicans. Nevada, not much competitive as well. 2 likely margin seats there. New Hampshire, pretty much the same thing, although I would put the 1st district, actually the 2nd district I would put at a safe margin. This is the safer district for the Democrats. New Jersey, there's a number of very interesting seats. The 2nd district I have is tilt Republican for now. We had the poll which had Amy Kennedy up like 4 percentage points, or maybe it was like 6 percentage points with likely voters, something like that. But it was a very good poll for her. She's not doing that well in the fundraising, though, and Jeff Ranger did switch parties, which is not actually working in his favor, but the district, is still a Republican district. The 3rd district, I think, is lean, and the 7th district, I think, is likely. Andy Kim doesn't have much of a strong challenger, and I think he's going to be able to win quite easily. And then when you have Malinowski in the 7th district, he'll be able to win quite easily as well. Now, New Mexico's 2nd district is going to be very close. I think this is tilt Republican, or actually tilt Democrat. Xochitl Torres-Small is doing very well in the fundraising, and she's going up against the same opponent that she went up in 2018. And I do think New Mexico will trend a little bit towards the Democrats this year, and Xochitl Torres-Small will be able to win again. New York, there's a number of very interesting seats. I do think that the 24th district, John Katko's seat, is tilt a Democrat. I do think the 27th district is safe Republican. 24th is tilt Republican. I misspoke. The 22nd, however, is tilt Democrat. This is Anthony Brindisi's seat. This is actually a district that Mitt Romney won by less than a percentage point, and Anthony Brindisi's quite a good candidate. He's moderate, and he's in a district with a lot of legacy Democrats, and he can capitalize on those rural trends where it's people becoming Republican, but they're still willing to vote for a Democrat. And Anthony Brindisi was also ahead by quite a bit in a new poll. The 19th, I also think, is likely. I think the 18th is also probably likely. As for the 11th district, I think this is lean Democrat. Max Rose is quite a good candidate. He's running a good campaign. He's got a lot of money. I do think he will be able to win. And then the 2nd district, which is where you have Peter King, who is now retiring. I do think this is tilt Democrat. This is one of these surprise flips that I've had for a while. You do have a good candidate for the Democrats, Jackie Gordon, running against Andrew Garbarino. The Republican candidate is not doing well in the fundraising, and Democrats have won this district at the presidential level in the past, and so I do think they're able to win it. The first district, however, I think is likely. Lee Zeldin's been doing well in the fundraising, and he's been doing well in the polls. North Carolina, not much competitive as well. I would put the 11th probably at likely. I'd put the 8th district at safe. I'd also put the 9th district at safe. I'd also put the 2nd and the 6th at safe because, these are the redistricting that gave Democrats an extra 2 seats. I'd also put the 1st district at safe, so pretty much nothing competitive in North Carolina. North Dakota, you have the 1 at-large safe district. Ohio, not much competitive as well. I don't know why the 1st is put at toss-up. I think it's likely Republican. That's not going to be too hard for Steve Chabot to win. I also think the 12th district is safe. Oklahoma, you've got the 1 competitive district, which is Oklahoma's 5th congressional district. Now, Kendra Horn is running against Bice. I forgot her first name, but her last name is Bice. She's not that great of a candidate. She's been ahead in a couple of polls that showed, the Republican candidate winning a lot easier in 2018 than what she is winning by now. I know Kendra Horn's doing well in the fundraising, and, sure, Trump won this district by 13, but Mitt Romney won it by around 20-something points, around 20 points. So I do think Joe Biden will lose it by a little bit less than what Hillary Clinton won it by, and you also will have Kendra Horn that loses very, very narrowly. Oregon's 4th. There's 1 district, which is the 4th district. I think it is likely. You've got Peter DeFazio here. He's been around for a while. I do think he'll be able to win quite easily. Pennsylvania, not much competitive. The 10th district, I do think, is lean Republican. You've had a couple polls here with the Democrat doing well, and the fundraising is good for them, but Scott Perry will still be able to win. The 7th district, I do think, is good. The 8th district's good. The 1st district's good. The 16th district, I'd probably also put at safe Republican. It's not going to be too hard for Mike Kelly to win. The rest of these, I also do think are correct. Rhode Island, the 2 safe districts. South Carolina, you've just got the 1st congressional district here, which is competitive. I don't know why the 2nd's put as competitive. It's not. The 1st district, however, I do think is tilt Democrat. Joe Cunningham's a good candidate. He's doing all right in the fundraising. He's got a lead against Nancy Mace, who's not that great of a candidate. Joe Cunningham's also doing well in the fundraising. I said he was doing well in the fundraising. He's doing all right. And he was also doing very well in a poll that we had recently. He was at like 13 points in his own internal poll. When, internal polls do overestimate the incumbent or, whoever they're being commissioned by. But, 13 points is a lot to overcome. South Dakota, just the 1 at-large district. Tennessee, nothing going to be competitive there. Texas, we've got a number of competitive seats in Texas. I may miss a couple just going through the number of them that there are. 21st Congressional District with Chip Roy. I am moving this back to tilt Republican. Wendy Davis raised a lot of money, but she's also spent a lot of the money, and she's been ahead very narrowly in the polls, but Trump also did win this district quite easily. And Chip Roy, he's still an incumbent. He gets that advantage. The 25th, I do believe, is safe. I also believe the 6th is safe, and I also believe the 3rd is safe. The 24th, I do believe, is tilt Republican. Democrats ran it progressive here, which isn't that great. The 22nd, however, I do believe is tilt a Democrat because, the Democrats do have a good candidate in Sri Kulkarni, who's been ahead in a couple polls. He's also been doing very well in the fundraising and the trends. This is one of the fastest trending districts in the country, so I do expect him to be able to narrowly win. The rest of those I do think are probably correct ratings. Utah, you just got the 4th congressional district here, which I do believe is actually tilt Republican. Burgess Owens got a big surge in the fundraising, as I predicted, because of the fact that he spoke at the convention, and Trump did win this district by around 6 percentage points, so I do expect that to help Burgess Owens be able to win. Vermont, you've got the 1 at-large district. Virginia, you've got the 5th congressional district, which I believe is lean Republican. The Republican candidate that beat Denver Riggleman in the primary is not doing well in the fundraising, but sure, Trump still did win this district quite easily. The rest of these I also agree with, except for the 1st district, which I believe is safe for the Republicans. Washington, nothing really competitive, to be honest. You could argue the 8th district and the 3rd district, they're both likely, but not going to be too hard for those candidates to win. West Virginia, all of them going to be safe, obviously. Wisconsin, all of these also going to be safe for the most part. I actually think the 3rd district is safe. Ron Kind is a very good candidate for these rural trending areas for the Republicans. And then Wyoming, you've got the 1 at-large district. So looking at the map overall, we do have the Democrats at 237 seats, the Republicans at 198 seats. This would be a net gain of 2 seats for the Democrats to the 2018 elections, a net gain of around 5 based on what they have now, but we also have a couple open seats, a couple flips for the Republicans since then. So overall, Democrats are doing very well in the House. They have, over a 99% chance of keeping the House, in my opinion. There's not much of a path for the Republicans. And, overall, Democrats are doing very well. So I'll continue to make videos every day up until the election comes up. We've got the election. It's just 16 days away now. So it is getting very, very interesting. I'll have one more House prediction coming up, and that will be on the 31st of October. So stay tuned for that. So thank you all for watching this video. Please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Also, join the Discord that is linked down in the description, and check out the website, which is also linked down in the description. But again, guys, thank you all for watching this video, and I will see you guys later.